Hello guys and welcome back to another episode of the Paws in Pursuit podcast. We're on episode 3 now, which is crazy. First of all, I'd like to say I'm buzzing my face off because I've got a new GoPro tripod and just looking at it, so professional. Quality should be great. Anyway, I also hope you really like my Christmas jumper. I'm feeling festive. It's December, which means it's Christmas. Got the Christmas lights. Probably can't see them because it's actually quite bright. But anyway, I'm just ready to jingle all the bells. I'm feeling so festive, best time of year. Anyway, now that is out the way, I have my show notes, as we know I do now. So first, I want to thank you all for all of your Instagram responses. I asked some questions on my Instagram story about what you guys would like to see on the podcast, topics you'd like me to cover, and then also guests that you'd like me to get on. Now, disclaimer about guests first of all. I am going to get guests on eventually. However, I would like to do, get more solo episodes out the way first, so I sort of get more used to talking to the camera, the phone, reading show notes, everything. Just get better at podcasting myself first, and then I'll introduce guests, but it will happen, hold me to that. If it hasn't happened in a few months, message me, be like, oi, Summer, get guests on, we want them. Anyway, I've got all your suggestions. The next thing is, so still not fully brilliant, but for the past 5 days or so I have had COVID, so that's been great. It's been quite boring. Nice to have a rest, but quite boring. Arrow's been great, bless him. He's just been fine to chill with me. We haven't done any agility, which has been sad, but this segues quite nicely onto today's topic. Now, no one really asked for this topic when I asked on Instagram, but it is something I would really like to talk about, and I think it's very important to talk about this sort of in one of the earlier on episodes, especially with me wanting to target, as well junior handlers, upcoming handlers who are quite young and wanting to get into agility and sort of follow what I've done in it. So today's topic is going to be, and I've got a nice title for it, and it is Balancing Life and Agility, Why Less is More, and How I Burnt Myself Out. Now that sounds really brutal. It's not as brutal as it sounds. You've probably heard of burnout before, in all aspects of life, but it can happen in agility, it can happen in any areas of life. Especially for young people doing agility, if you're a student as well as doing agility, wanting to socialise, do sort of, I hate saying this, but what people class as normal sort of young person activities, going out at night, having fun, stuff like that. So I am going to try and explain to you how I've balanced life and agility during these years of my life, and considering I'm 21 now, I've been doing I've had Earl since I was 8, so I've gone through that whole period of being a teenager while doing agility and trying to take it seriously, but also trying to be a student, pass my exams, get some money, work part-time, all these things that you have to do in this age gap. So with COVID, this segues me into it, so I've had to rest. I haven't been able to do agility. Arrow's got no training. I'm meant to have a competition on Sunday. I'm negative now, I don't have COVID anymore, but you don't want to rush back into it. So first of all, rest. Rest is so important for both handler and dog. It's winter, it's colder, the weather's horrible, everyone seems to be getting colds or ill or whatever, and you need to learn when to rest. So as much as you take your agility seriously and you want to be out there training, I normally go out there every day and do a few seesaws with Arrow. Whatever we're struggling with, I will go out there every day and I'll work on it. Just a little bit at a time, because I know, again, less is more. That's an example of how less is more. But also when you're ill or you're not feeling it or you're having a bad day for whatever reason, you don't have to train every day. You just don't. If you're feeling unwell or in a bad mood for whatever reason, or there's something on your mind, take that day to just rest, and you don't have to train. You can just take your dog for a walk or just have cuddles on the sofa. You don't have to train every day, even on the days where you just don't feel like it. That is really important, because if you force yourself to go out there and train your dog because you feel like you have to and it's part of taking it seriously and wanting to reach the top, you won't be in the right frame of mind. So if it goes wrong, your dog will pick up on that. You're just not going to have a very good session, basically. So you really need to just listen to yourself, your body, and you don't have to train every day. So that's really important. Rest is also really important for dogs. So I've got the human part out of the way with, but your dog needs rest too. Like, agility is strenuous on your dog's joints, especially things like the seesaw. That's why I only do like 3 in the garden in the session. Weaves, anything. Agility is unnatural. It's a lot of unnatural movement, and it's very high impact sport. Like, we do all we can to keep our dogs in good condition for it. Like, we give them joint supplements in their food. We take them to physios to get checked over. We do their conditioning, which I did get in my Instagram story suggestions, and that will be a future episode: dog conditioning, handle fitness, etc. However, for today, we're sticking to this. So yeah, we do everything we can, but at the end of the day, it is what it is. It's still very high impact and strenuous on our dogs' bodies, so they need rest too. Like, for example, I go to the gym, and which I haven't been doing because I'm ill. I'm more like to injure myself, make my illness worse, etc. Pass it on to other people, but there's just no point in doing those things when you're not physically or mentally healthy in that moment. Like, it's gonna make it worse. It's not gonna go well. And it's just the same for the dog. Like, you need time off. Like, in the gym, rest is when you build muscle, when you recover to go harder the next time. Same with the dog. Like, they have to have some rest from agility, especially when they're young. Like, Arrow's only 3, to recuperate, get their energy back. And it's not just physical either, it's mental. So if you have a break, you will often come back more excited, more energised, mentally more like, oh, I can't wait to get back to it, I missed it so much, which will make your performance better because you're at the top of your game again. You're like excited, you've got that energy and you're going to put your all into it. Whereas if you do it every day for ages without a break, you're going to get fed up with it, to be honest. Even if it's your passion, especially like I've been doing agility for 13 years, like doing it every day all that time is so unrealistic. Like, you just can't keep something up for that long without a break. So, importance of rest, don't feel guilty, give yourself and your dog a rest. It's okay to have a break, and you're not going to lose anything. You're not going to lose anything from a short break. You're actually going to gain. Let me just... Oh, I made myself a cup of tea that I completely forgot about. That's so exciting. Give me a sec. Oh, nothing better. Right. So, let me have a quick look at my show notes. So, overtraining is another thing that I got asked to talk about in an episode. But again, that'll be a separate episode. But kind of does come into this one in the sense, like I've said, you can physically overtrain and mentally overtrain. So, you can injure yourself or your dog if you overtrain, and you can just burn yourself out mentally. You can just get fed up of it. It's not exciting anymore for either of you. It feels like a job if you're making yourself do it constantly. So that's just a very good reason why rest is important. So, burnout for people my age, teenagers, young people, young agility handlers. I have had experience with burnout. And burnout is basically where you just go all the time. You don't give yourself enough of a rest, you don't give yourself enough of a break, and it all gets too much, and then you just crash because you can't handle that constant workload that you're giving yourself of everything going on. So I experienced burnout during uni, especially, when I was a student trying to live a student life, pass my exams, get my assignments done. I was also trying to be at the top of my game in agility, also trying to keep my fitness up, also trying to chill out and spend time with friends and do sort of things that I wasn't doing because, for an end goal, if that makes sense, just things for me. So I was trying to balance all these things, and it's unrealistic. You can only do so much, and then you burn out because you just become physically, mentally exhausted from everything. So burnout during sort of your teenage years while you're a student you need to be careful of that. And it's a very stressful time being a student when you're trying to, you know, get your good grades and, you know, this is what you've been working towards, a degree. I've got my degree now and I feel it already, like, just that is a huge pressure, and now it's gone. It's brilliant. Like, it is so worth it to prioritise that while you're in it. And that is what I'm going to come onto next. So, prioritisation. So that is basically the key to avoiding burnout and being realistic with yourself and your dog. So you need to realise that it's okay to prioritise one thing and let everything else take a backseat for a short period of time. For example, if you're in uni and you've got, say when I went into my final year of uni, I thought, this is the final stretch. I've been in education since I was like in reception, like 5 or whatever, whenever you go into education, and this is my goal, to get my degree. Out of all of that work has been for this, so, you know, I didn't want to prioritise that. I wanted to do a bit of everything. I didn't want to let like agility go a little bit for more uni or vice versa. So I tried to do everything to the fullest I could, and you can't really do that. So I mean, I've got my degree now, you know, but I could have made it a way better experience for myself if I just allowed that, you know, just accepted it in my head that one thing's going to have to go a little bit on the back burner while the other thing takes priority. So realising it's okay to do that, you know, prioritise your studies for like a year even and not do as much agility. But that's only a short period of your life, and I know at our age when we're young it feels like a lot of time, but in the grand scheme of things, you know, you've got the rest of your life to focus on your agility. Just let yourself prioritise the things that you need to prioritise in that moment. Realise it's only for a short period of time. You know, it's not going to be forever. You will get past it, and then you'll be able to switch priorities back round. So like now I finish uni, agility's back to being my priority. And to be honest, it always kind of was. Like, I never felt like I prioritised uni over agility personally, but, you know, I think it would have helped me avoid that burnout if I did. So once you finish one thing that you're prioritising, that can take the back seat, and then you can prioritise what you've just put on the back seat, so like agility again. And then you can work on that again, you know, give that your full attention. You know, you can't give everything 100%. Like, you can, it's just not, no human can. It's just how it is. So if you prioritise one thing and give that 100%, you're going to do really well at that. And then once you've got that, you can switch it around and give 100% to another thing. And then after a short period of time, you can switch your priorities, you know, for the life stage you're at and what suits you and what you want out of things at the moment. But just realise it's okay to prioritise. Don't make yourself do everything. So that is prioritising, and it's only for a little while. And then obviously you've got your long-term and short-term priorities. So, for example, uni was my short-term priority. That's gone now, that's done, that stage of my life is over, and I don't need to prioritise it anymore. Whereas now, agility is what I would class as my long-term priority, because I've been in it for 13 years and I want to be in it for the complete rest of my life, to be honest. So that is my long-term priority, that I will always be working on that through my whole life. So there is no rush to prioritise it constantly and always be achieving in it constantly. Like, I don't need to, because I'm going to be doing it for my whole life, it's a journey. So you don't need to just slam it really hard all at once all the time, because you've got your whole life to. Whereas uni, I was only at uni for 3 years, so that was my short-term priority for those 3 years, if that makes sense. So you've got your long-term and your short-term priorities. If it helps, write them down. Make a list of your short-term and long-term priorities, and it'll just clear your head and make you feel a lot better about what you're doing mentally, because you'll be like, right, this makes sense, this is what I have to do now, and this is what I want in the long term, and there's no pressure on that, because I've got forever to achieve it and I'll always come back to it. Whereas once uni's over, it's over. I mean, you can go back to it, but that's only prolonging the process. So you need to concentrate on the short-term things and your long-term thing's always there for you to always be working on in the background, if that makes sense. And then when your short-term priorities are out the way with, crack on. You can absolutely go for it with your long-term priorities. And I managed to be on Team GB while I was taking my GCSEs. So it's not easy, but you know, you've got to do that prioritising. So I knew I was going abroad in the July of a year where I had exams at secondary school. So, you know, knowing that that's going to be your priority for that summer, you can put more into, say, schoolwork leading up to that in that year, like in that entire year. You can do more schoolwork before the summer, so it's out the way with, and you know you've put everything into that. So you can then sort of forget about that, satisfied with the knowledge you've given it your all, and then move on to the priority of EOJ. So you're not thinking about two things at once. Think about one, slam that. Think about the next thing, slam that, but separately. Like, don't try too hard to do everything perfectly, because you won't do as good in each thing if you try and do it all, if that makes sense. So that's an example. Let's have another quick sip of my tea. You can probably tell I'm still a little bit out of breath. Yummy. My Crufts mug. Well excited for Crufts, just saying. Okay, so less is more again, back onto that, in the sense that you and your dog will actually perform better after some downtime, like I said before. So you will come back more energised, rejuvenated, excited if you have some downtime. So while you're not working on your goals, don't feel guilty. Think of it as, this is just part of the process. Like, this is fine. You don't have to be doing it all the time. And then when you go back to it the next week or the next month or whatever, you'll be even better. Like, for example, the amounts of times that me and Arrow have taken a break from agility, and Ethel, to be honest, and then, like, for example, so this year has been incredible, but also full of, like, just crappy little things. I'm like, why? Like, you probably, if you follow me on Instagram and Facebook, etc., you will probably remember when Arrow, there was so much. He fractured his tooth chewing an antler, and he couldn't do agility while that was happening. He needed a tooth removal and a dental and all that. And then he ripped his toenail off. That was fun. Trying to keep a spaniel nice and still and calm with a bandage around his foot. No. It's a no from me. That was horrible. That was so hard. But yeah, so we couldn't do agility for a while with that. Tell you what, we came back even better. He was even better. And you know what he was like with his sensitivities and nervousness? And he just, he was like, oh, agility, oh, dull, scary, horrible. He came back to it, and he was almost like, oh, this is actually, I forgot about this. This is fun. This is new. I haven't done this for ages. This is so exciting. And anything that you make yourself do over and over and over again, it feels like work. It's like getting up every day and going to work, isn't it? So, and I was going to say, like, on Monday morning, you probably feel a bit better about the week because you just had the weekend. I don't know if that's just me, like, or I don't know. But most people probably can't relate to that. But you see what I'm trying to say. So me and Arrow came back to agility, I think, better after we had those setbacks. Like, that's what they say, isn't it? Like, one step back, two steps forward. So it just seems to work like that. So that is the main reason why you should just allow it when stuff like that happens. Just allow that break. You will still progress, and you've got your whole life to achieve your goals, and a few weeks, months, or even a few years in the long run won't, you'll get there eventually if you put the work in no matter what. You don't have to always be, like, going ham, as they say. So that's a really important point. Another thing, especially for our, like, I say our age group, like, when I'm targeting, like, younger people, if you're, like, a young person in agility like me, or even younger, or wanting to come into it, or even if you're, late 20s, 30s, whatever age you are, everyone in life needs that, that socialising element, that fun element. So I am not a big partier, I don't really enjoy going out at night loads. Like, I do it like every maybe few months or so, but it's not something I enjoy doing regularly because it gets boring. It's all the same to me. Do you get what I mean? Like, I do prefer working on my goals. I'm a driven person. That's just how I am. But it is also important to spend time with other people, friends. Just go out and not think about anything like goal related for a day or a week or whatever. You know, like have your time where you just chill, just like chill and take the pressure off everything. And I think that's really important, especially when you're young. Like, you do want to go out and experience things like that, don't you, with your friends, like going out and having a few drinks and, you know, just going on holiday and thinking about that. Like, if I go on holiday with my friends for 2 weeks, I'm not going to be doing any agility. I'm not even going to see Arrow, you know, but that's okay. Like, it's fine because it's 2 weeks. Like, it's 2 weeks. It's not going to do anything. And I think the most important thing is the mental health of both you and your dog for good agility performance and reaching your goals. That sounds really like cliche, especially at the moment with mental health being sort of the trendy topic to talk about. But it is important. Like, it really is important. Like, if they say happy handler, happy dog, you know, happy dog, happy handler, you know, I didn't like seeing Arrow sad doing agility and scared. That made me sad. So it was never going to work because we were feeding off each other and it was negative vibes, if you like. And if I'm in a bad mood or sad or low energy or annoyed or whatever, Arrow's going to pick up on that and not be enjoying his agility as much. And you do everything better when you're enjoying it. So mental health, if you and your dog are happy and have good mental health, because mental health is for dogs too. Like, it's every animal has, every being has mental health. So if you're healthy in your head, then and in your body because you've rested, and you know, if you're happy and healthy, then you're going to perform better. So, and it's the things like the downtime and the going out and socialising and the chilling and taking the pressure off that makes you mentally healthy and happy. So it's like a vicious cycle. Like, you need the balance to have a good mental state, and at the end of the day, a good mental state is what's going to get you far in life, and it's going to make you more energised and determined to reach your goals in the long run. So mental health is just really important. And the last point I've put down here that I think is, again, the most important part is, if you have a good relationship with your dog, nothing can be lost. If, like, at the end of the day, you can work on all the skills, you can be the fittest athlete that you can be as a handler, your dog can be the fittest, most conditioned, well-fed dog ever, you know, you can be physically at the top of your game and even mentally on your own, but if you don't have that relationship with your dog, it's never going to work anyway. Like, you could be putting every hour of every day into your training, but if you don't have that connection with your dog and you're not mentally there, you're not mentally in a good place, it's not going to work anyway. Like, those things are so much more important, in my opinion, than, you know, anything else at all. So as long as you have a good relationship with your dog, like, I could go on holiday for 2 weeks, come back, I still have that amazing relationship with Arrow. Like, that, I built that from when he was a puppy. That's not just going to go away ever. We built that. Like, that is an unbreakable bond, as cliche as it sounds. Hang on, another sip of tea. Bear with. Beautiful. I made it a bit milky, so I should probably not show you because haters will come at me. Anyway, yeah, so just have a good relationship with your dog. Be mentally happy. Take rest so that you're mentally and physically healthy and happy. And, you know, let yourself prioritise certain things at certain stages of your life. There's more to, again, this sounds strange coming from me because everyone knows agility is my life. You know, I absolutely bloody love it. I'll always do it, and I have so many things I want to achieve in it that I will continue working on for the rest of my life, all being well. But again, we never know what's going to happen, so all we can do is try our best in the moment, but life's short, so have fun with it. Like, just have fun with it. And have a good relationship with your dog. Just enjoy everything and do your best. And that's all we can do, isn't it? Is just do our very best. So yeah, I think that about wraps up the podcast. I hope you enjoyed it. Just remember to have fun, do your best. You know, being a young person isn't easy for so many reasons. There's lots of things to think about, prioritise. You know, you feel like you have to get your life together. You don't yet. Just try your best in every field. Prioritise things as you're doing them, and yeah, just keep doing your best, because that's all we can do, isn't it? And you'll get there eventually. If you keep going at it. And agility, you know, it sounds weird coming from me, like I said, because agility is my entire life, but I do other things too. I am not always doing agility, you know. I balance my life with lots of different things, you know, in my day-to-day life. But agility will always be there, and my relationship with Arrow will always be there. You know, that's not going anywhere. I don't need to put the pressure on it, because it's always going to be there. So yeah, I think that wraps up today's podcast episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. Episode 3, amazing. So 26 minutes. I feel like that's probably a little bit better than last week, which was an hour and 13 minutes. See, my first podcast episode was 9 minutes, and then my second one was an hour 13. So maybe today we managed to find a middle ground. Tell me what you prefer, short episodes or long episodes. Just give me constant feedback. I would love more feedback from you guys. I do have a very exciting thing coming up. Actually, by the time I'm recording this quite early, I'm recording this on Friday and it's not going up till Wednesday, because on my days off I like to do that. I like to get myself sorted so I don't miss anything for you guys. But yeah, there's something exciting I have planned, and I might have already said it, announced it by the time this is up. So if I have, you'll know what it is. If not, there's something exciting coming. Okay, make sure you get in on that. Follow me on Instagram, TikTok and YouTube at Paws in Pursuit. And Facebook is Summer Ruby Clark. The links are in my Instagram bio for everything, everywhere we are online. And yeah, just keep giving me feedback about the podcast. I will definitely do episodes on the suggestions you guys gave me on Instagram stories the other day. And yeah, just keep feeding me back. I want to improve, I want to get better at what I'm doing, and then in a few weeks, months, whatever, I'll get some guests on, and I have so many ideas. I'm feeling so inspired for topics and guests. It is crazy. I'm loving this. This is great. I'm going to keep doing this for as long as I can, because I'm enjoying myself. And I hope you guys are too. So, I will talk to you soon. Stay tuned for these exciting things that I've got coming up. So many projects. There's nothing like sitting at home with COVID for a week and not being able to go outside and exercise or do anything that I normally do. And in a way, you know, again, rest. The fact that I've been resting for a week, so many things have started in my head. Like, so many projects I've started to work on, so many ideas have come to me. It's a benefit. Rest. Okay. On that note, I will see you guys next Wednesday. Have a great week, guys. Bye!